This is insane that I'm included in this. This is insane. I have loved David Letterman since I can't remember a time I didn't find David Letterman funny. And so to be, one, able to honor him here at the Kennedy Center, and two, just be in the company of the other people on the stage, it's for real, it's like there was a mistake. I am really happy the mistake was made, but it feels like a typo or something. And they were trying to get Mulvaney, that guy from the government or whatever. I remember seeing a retrospective he did on his hairline when they were leaving NBC, and they were playing that song, Say You, Say Me, and they were just showing different close-ups of how his hair changed over the years. I still remember watching that last episode of Late Night on NBC when he rode a horse out the studio doors. It was like the most exciting thing on TV I'd ever seen. He was the most kind of badass person. No one on TV seemed like they didn't care. And I mean that he obviously cared, but he seemed like he didn't give a shit. And like Oprah and Donahue, all these people that I saw on TV were very serious and thought it was like a privilege, and they'd talk about the privilege of being on TV. And he was like punk rock or something, albeit extremely square. I first met David Letterman in 2015. We were doing a show for the USO's 75th anniversary, and it was a group of us performing for about 1,000 servicemen and women, and Vice President Joe Biden, Dr. Jill Biden, First Lady Michelle Obama, and President Barack Obama. And it was me and a bunch of comedians, Jon Stewart and David Letterman. It was like a very heady group of people. He was very calm, he was very shy. I remember saying out loud, we were in this long line to have our photo taken with the President and First Lady and Vice President Biden and Dr. Biden. And I just said out loud, I'm so nervous. And I looked over at him and he said, I'm nervous. So that was very nice. That was calming. We had a special guest every night on Oh Hello on Broadway. And for the final one we ever did, David Letterman agreed to be our guest. The show was at the Lyceum Theater on Broadway. It was an extremely New York feeling show. We had Paul Schaefer on, we'd had Stephen Colbert on, we'd had Conan O'Brien on, we'd had a lot of hilarious, funny people. We'd had Itzhak Perlman. He was like the quintessential both comedy guest and New York guest. And I never saw this before, but we introduced the guest every night from the audience, and people would first not believe they were there, and then they would sort of recognize that they were there and they would go crazy. When we said David Letterman, the place jumped to its feet so quickly. Like they processed that he was in the room for the first time and realized they were about to see him. And he'd been off the air for maybe 9 months at that time. And it was like an explosion of seeing the biggest star you've ever seen, but more importantly, like a friend you hadn't seen in a long time.